Hello viewers, welcome to the class for today. It's English class for grade 4. My student will join the class now. You can subscribe. Thank you. How are you today, Munaji?
I'm good.
Alright, you're welcome to the class for today. So you're going to continue this story, but before you continue, I'm going to read it one more time. It says George has a little brother who is just 4 years old. His mother needed to visit his grandma who was sick. She asked George to look after Alfie for the afternoon. However, George had planned to build a den with his friends in Bluebell Wood. His mother's last words to George were, "Whatever you do, don't let Alfie get dirty. He is to go to a birthday party at 4 o'clock and I won't have time to get him changed." So your task is to write a story with the title "Keep Out of the Mud." It tells how George tries to join his friends to help build the den and look after Alfie at the same time, possibly with a disastrous result. So, over to you to continue now. It says the story begins when George is left alone with Alfie. What do they decide to do? You have to finish up. Then what happens to Alfie when the boys were building it then and why did it happen? You have to finish up. Then what happens to Alfie when the boys are building it? Okay, I think it's the same thing. Yes, same thing. So now what does George do to resolve the problem and what happens when the mother returns? Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can take your time to build something from that.
Good.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Now read what you have from. You can read it
Um,
from the beginning of the story to now join your story. Okay, yeah. You said the story begins with now. Read what you have alone.
I'm I'm not. I didn't write the story. I wrote the
Yeah,
question.
that's what I'm saying. I said read what you have alone. I've seen that it's complete with the question.
George has a little brother who is just 4 years
No,
old.
no, not that. I said you should start reading from the question. You said the story begins when.
The story begins when George is left alone with Alfie. What do they decide to do? They decide to go build a den with a warning not to get dirty. What happens when the boys are building a den? Why? Alfie gets dirty because he jumps into a mud puddle beside them. What does Jorge George George do to resolve the problem? He uses one of his t-shirts in his house and pants. I should have put because he lived close to his house, but that was the park was close to his house. But yeah,
Okay.
his mom. Wait, what? What does what? What does what happens when his mother comes home? His mom sees his clothes okay and nods slightly.
Mm. Next time when you're writing, you make sure it's a complete passage. Like you don't need to put the questions in between. Okay.
Okay.
You don't need to. So, like what I gave you yesterday says, okay, Alfie was left, I mean, the boy was left alone with Alfie, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So George is left alone with Alfie. George decides to take him along to the Bluebell Wood so he can still meet with his friend and build the den, thinking he can just keep an eye on him. While they while they were distracted building the den, Alfie wanders off and tries to, or you could say Alfie tries to help them and, you know, fell into something, falling into a patch of thick, wet mud, and or you could say a puddle because he's too small to navigate the woods, right? The construction site. Exactly.
Yeah.
Then George has to act fast since Alfie has a birthday party at 4 o'clock. He might try to wash, you can say maybe George acted fast and tried to wash Alfie's clothes in a nearby stream. Or you can say uh, George tried to sneak Alfie home to clean him up before their mother returns. So that was what he planned to do or what he tried to do, but probably it didn't work, okay?
Okay.
Because they were like, the mother should not know. So when his mother comes home, she likely finds Alfie. You can say, okay, the mother came and find that Alfie's clothes is still wet, wearing, or you can say Alfie was seen wearing mismatched clothes. Maybe George had to try to get him another clothes. Or you could say the mother discovers the mud evidence and that led to the disastrous result mentioned in the prompt. And what do you think the disastrous result will be?
It
What
has
could,
to be a disaster.
yeah, what do you think it will be?
Um,
Something that George would not like. Maybe the mother said, because the mother got angry and said, because you, George, you are irresponsible. I ask you to watch over your little brother. This and this and this. And this is what happened. I'm taking away your PlayStation for 3 months. Or something else that the mother used to punish the boy so that next time he's going to follow instruction. Do you understand?
yeah.
Or the mother says, yeah, pick up that cutlass and make sure you go and cut all the grasses in the courtyard. Instead of using mower, you're going to use your hand to cut it as a punishment. You know, something like that. Or you say the mother just tried to punish George in one way or the other. Alright, no problem. I'm going to send your homework over, okay?
Okay.
Goodbye for now.
Bye.
Alright, viewers, thanks so much for watching. You can subscribe to the channel.